As far as with this truck Bob, what's the case is with Bob is the throttle advance has been taken out, and it was converted with a cheap kit to have a manual choke put into it. So how to start this vehicle is one of the things you need to do is, because there's no throttle advance, you have to keep your foot on the pedal just a little bit. And then to start this, you know, so when you run it, you're gonna be using more gas than what the throttle advance thing would do if the part wasn't taken out. So the best way to cold start this, there's two things you have to know about. If the vehicle sits for a long time, the gas in the carburetor is going to evaporate. So you're going to need about 30 seconds of turning the starter to fill up that float bowl. And then when that float bowl gets full, then it'll start. But as the float bowl is filling, about 20 seconds into it, you give it a pump, and then you push the, and then you start it that way. Now to start this particular truck, I find the best thing is you give the gas pedal one pump, you pull the choke all the way out, and then you turn the key. When it catches, you push it in, and I use my finger thickness as a guide, and I push it in like that, and then it'll be running a little rich, and it'll catch right away. And then what will happen after that, it'll start to lean out a little bit, and then you just give it a little bit more manual choke and keep your foot, while keeping your foot depressed on the pedal just a little bit. And an approximate RPM is, in the summertime, probably about 1500 RPM, and when it gets closer to the colder weather, you push it closer to 1200 or 2000 RPM, I should say. So basically you pull this out all the way, give this thing a squirt because it was started yesterday, and then turn the key, wait for it to catch, push it in. And then if that happens, you just give it another turn, and it'll start right up. There. Now you just keep your foot about this idle until it warms up. Now in the winter time, you might need a little faster idle, but you can just, that's it. You just hold it, and then watch your temperature gauge. Once your temperature gauge gets up past the cold mark, in between the quarter there and everything, then it should idle strong. Now, in the winter time, we'll set up the heat stove for the carb icing set up. Right now, it's warm enough; we don't have to worry about carb icing. So yeah, you can cut it there for a moment. So okay, so now it's been running long enough. You just check it. Oh, it's going to idle. Okay, so when you're driving it, it's, if you took a look at the temperature gauge here, it's still on the cold side, right? But so what you got to do is, for the next, in the summertime, for the next couple of minutes, you just run it with that much choke, and after a couple of minutes, you can push the choke in, and it won't hesitate. If you push the choke in too early right away, it'll hesitate and may want to stall. But if you use a little bit of choke until you get past that cold line, you just need a little tiny bit of choke, it won't hesitate. And then once after another 5 minutes, you can run it the rest of the day with the choke in. It's already responded, it's warm enough to. And another way you want to check to make sure you're okay, put your foot on the brake, stick it in the gear. Right now it's warm enough to drive, see, because it's in gear and it's idling on its own. So that's another way you can check it, especially in the winter time. You want to know if it's warm enough to drive. This is how you can tell. Just put it in gear and let it idle. And if it's idling like it is now on its own, then you're set. That's how you know.
Sounds like Bob's ready to party.
Oh yeah, he's ready to party. Just going to run her until she's at an operating temperature, and then I'll shut her off. Okay. And I actually, the last time I was here, I had to trim some hoses because, did Tim tell you about that? Yeah, okay. So we're trying to rock it. He made a better response. Carburetor. back in this 3-speed, man. It gets out of its own way, but you know, they used to say in the old days, the speedometer goes one way and the gas gauge goes the other, but that's half the fun.
Yeah, at equal rates.
Yeah, yeah, but it that's what makes it so fun. So okay, so now we're up to operating temperature and I shut her down.
I'm a little pissed at myself that I missed the cold start. I started filming about